I personally think the hate on chapter 2 is not necessary. So I'm just gonna react to this.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go through it a little bit, man. We got chapter 1 through chapter 5 tier list, and it's not particularly close when we're looking at these guys. And by the way, there's actually only one right answer too. Also, okay, we go with chapter 1. We're going to start with the greatest. It goes S tier for multiple reasons. Okay, it starts with
About
chapter 1.
part, I can't really say much because I didn't play back then. But I used to watch streams of other content creators. During chapter 1.
S tier, and it's not particularly Croche, okay? It's not Croche at all. Chapter 1, Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, Season 4, Season 5, Season 6, Season 7, Season 8, Season 9. Halt! Season 10 was the worst season, arguably, in Fortnite history, only to be bested by Chapter 5, Car Season, Mad Max. So it is obvious, OG, Chapter 1, S tier. It'll be S tier for the rest of its entire life. Now let's move on to arguably one of the worst chapters in my personal opinion, but it's not the worst. So we're gonna put it Fortnite Chapter 2. We're gonna put this at a C.
The fact he's putting chapter 2 in slot C, it just generally hurts my feelings. Like, as someone that started in chapter 2, I have so much. And let me just take off my streaming glasses. Let me take them off real quick. My streaming glasses. Alright. Like, as someone that really enjoyed chapter 2, I experienced it. And even though I started only halfway of the chapter, I had so much good memories with chapter 2. So much good memories, and Ninja's like, yeah, chapter 2 is ass, and I'm like, yeah, just hear what he says about chapter 2. Just hear what he says about it. Just hear what Ninja says about chapter 2, because him personally hating on chapter 2 is not it. Like, I heard the first season of the chapter took fucking ages. I know it took like 130 days. But the content was good. There was always new content, there were new emotes. The armships were like getting fuller, Yeah, there was more stuff to choose from. The locker got developed, like the game became more advanced, So I have pretty good memories with chapter 2. Like, it was during the pandemic and I was actually having fun, And I'm not saying I'm not having fun with the game anymore. I'm just saying, like, back then there was so much to do and you could play for hours and hours and hours and hours and not get fucking tired. You could just play this game for hours. There was so much stuff to do. So I don't get the fact that he's hating on chapter 2. But yeah, I'll just let him say what he wants to say. But I personally think the hate on chapter 2 is unnecessary.
Okay. I'm going to give you 2 reasons we're doing this. Number 1, chapter 2 had the longest season in Fortnite history of over like 130 days. All right? 130 days, one singular update. They added a harpoon. A harpoon. Over 130 days, a harpoon. Not to mention we had the Prime season, okay? Where the Prime, or the whatever it was called, right? With we went back in time. I think it was called the Prime, right? Or no, the makeshift, whatever it was called. Awful, terrible season. Competitively, I think everyone hated it. It was the worst season. However, I loved the crafting. Primal, thank you. Yeah, what's the Primal season? I loved the crafting aspect, but the Primal season was also one of the worst seasons of all time. And let's be clear here, ladies and gentlemen. Fortnite Chapter 2.
Look, about Primal. Primal was not fun at all. I gotta admit. Primal was fucking horrible, and that's one of the reasons I didn't buy the Battle Pass then. But it's one of the reasons I didn't buy the Battle Pass back then. Like, I regret not getting Lara Croft. I really regret it. I really regret it. But further on, Chapter 2 is pretty fucking decent. Chapter 2 is actually decent. Like, I actually had fun. Maybe it's because I started back then. Maybe it's because I started in Chapter 2. And that's why I don't relate what he's saying. Because he started in Season 1. He started when the game was beta testing. Like, he started all the way in the beginning. So maybe it's because of that, But I personally don't agree with him. I think Chapter 2 was pretty fucking decent.
Is what completely led this game to down spiral in its popularity, and then some. And it's not particularly close. Yes, they had some great seasons in Chapter 2. The Iron Man season was out of this world, incredible, right? That Marvel season was actually spectacular. But yeah, this shit was ass. I quit in this season and came back super late. I'll never forget. Moving on to Fortnite Chapter 3. Fortnite Chapter 3, this one's going to be a little bit tough. We're going to start out at a B, and then I'm going to walk through with you guys in the chat right now.
Okay, the thing about Chapter 3, right? Like, I have very good memories with Chapter 3, but personally, I think it being higher than Chapter 2 is not it for me. Like, I have a lot of good fucking memories with Chapter 3, but it being higher than Chapter 2. Chapter 3 was way shorter, and Season 4 of Chapter 3 was not it. It was pretty mid, not gonna lie. You know, but I respect his decision though. I just don't agree with it.
Like, what were some of these good seasons, and what were some of the bad seasons? I'm gonna be honest. I actually kind of liked Chapter 3. I didn't hate it. This is when I came back and I actually started playing the game again. This is where a lot of the Spider-Man mythics were in the game, and it was arguably one of the best mechanics in the game. The Spider-Man mythic, right? All right, this is when no builds came in, and in my personal opinion, zero builds saved the game for me. Okay.
Look, as a builder, they started building Chapter 3 because before I did not even build. I kind of agree though. Zero build kind of did save the game, but it made the game very spray. Like there's a whole spraying meta, and it's not okay. Like the spraying is horrible. There's so much spraying than before. So I personally think the zero builds kind of fucked over things. You know, it kind of fucked over things. It kind of did. Because for example, when Chapter 1 came back, right, zero builds was pretty fucking difficult to play on the map. So for the older maps, Chapter 2 is not. I mean, zero builds is not really handy. You know, it's not really a good idea. But for like the newer maps, it's good. But I personally think zero builds didn't really save the game. It kind of like killed the game, not gonna lie. Because nowadays everybody's just going to zero builds. Nobody's really building anymore. Nobody's building. Even builders, if I play builds, the moment I play builds, the builders even spray like they're in zero build. That's what the game is turned on to at the moment. So I personally think zero builds kind of fucked over the game, if I'm very honest.
I definitely think there were some questionable seasons as well in Chapter 3. But all in all, the thing that sticks out the most to me about the season was zero build and the Spider-Man mythic. And somehow Fortnite and Epic got the Spider-Man mythic, the mechanics of it, almost better than the Spider-Man game itself and any other game that's ever tried to duplicate it. I've already given my explanations for these first three chapters. We're going to move on to Chapter 4. Okay? Arguably the greatest chapter in history besides Chapter 1. I know what you're thinking, Tyler. Are you going to put this at A tier? No. We're going to put Chapter 4.
Okay, I'm going to stop him here. Chapter 4 was good. I gotta fucking agree. It was very good. Like the good memories I had with Chapter 2 and 3, I had the same good memories with Chapter 4. However, Season 3 was not it, bro. Season 3 is when the whole spraying thingy became even worse. That's when it became even more worse. So, I would put it at A tier, not gonna lie. Like, my tier list would be different, you know. I would put Chapter 3 on B, of course. And I'll put Chapter 2 on C, you know. And I would put Chapter 1, of course, on top. Chapter 5, of course, would be all the way down. But let's just see what he has to say.
4 at S tier, and let me tell you why, dude. All right. Chapter 4 belongs at S tier for multiple reasons. Number 1, Mega City. Arguably one of the greatest POIs ever added to Tilted Towers, and it's not particularly close. The Hammer. One of the most fun movement abilities of all time. The Katana. Chef's kiss, dude. The Katana was also arguably one of the best movement pieces of all time. In general, the entire map was solid, rock solid. You wanted to land anywhere. Everywhere had solid loot.
I gotta agree. Like, I wanted to land everywhere. Now in chapter 5, I'm like, where do I go? I don't know where to land. You know, I don't know where to land. That's pretty much chapter 5 for me.
They had some really good like mythic chests too in certain POIs. They weren't like mythic, but you know what I mean, like special chests. So the movement, and of course they gave us one of my favorite rifles of all time is the Red Eye, the Red Dot, right? Red Eye. Unbelievable. Very good chapter. Tim the Tap. It was good enough for Tim and those guys to come back and play with it as well, right? Even Dennis played this chapter. Cloaksy. Okay, an absolute top to bottom flawless. I don't even think there was a bad season. Personally,
Nah,
unbelievable.
Season 2 is bad.
Chef's kiss.
Season 3 of chapter 4 is bad. He can't be saying it was not bad. It was pretty bad. Come on.
It belongs right up there with chapter 1. Is it better than chapter 1? I don't think anything can beat the nostalgia and the classicness that is chapter 1 of Fortnite, ladies and gentlemen, and it never will. And that's okay. Okay? That's okay. Moving on to one of my favorite chapters of all time. One of my favorite chapters of all time to shit on. Let me introduce you guys to the worst chapter in Fortnite history, ladies and gentlemen. Chapter 5. Or as I like to call it, the hashtag ad. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the green little teleports for a little bit, but then at the end of the day, it just became annoying, right? Those fights were annoying. Chasing someone with a katana was like, right? You knew that there was going to be charges that they were going to run out of eventually, and then you could make your move, right? Not if you're sitting in the green goo. Boring chapter, boring seasons.
The only good season from chapter 5 is season 1. I keep saying this. Season 1 was the best season of chapter 5. For this entire chapter, I'm pretty sure when this ends, I won't even have good memories of this chapter. I'm pretty fucking sure. Like, my memories will fade away from this chapter. I'm pretty sure. I don't think I'll have any good memories of this chapter. I'm gonna be real here, like, I don't have any good memories, except season 1. Season 1 was pretty good. It felt very fresh and stuff. But further, yeah, this chapter doesn't hit the same. Like, I really hope chapter 2 OG is gonna be great. I'm really hyped for that. But if that's not great, then I don't fucking know. Like, of course, it's not gonna be my seasons. You know, season 5, season 6. Why am I speaking German? Season 6. Season 7, Season 8, you know? Like, it sucks I won't be able to play those seasons again. But at least, I'll be on the Chapter 2 island again, so it's not too bad. But Chapter 5 in general, only Season 1 was good. I know not everyone will agree with me, but only Season 1 of this chapter was good. Like, the whole storyline, the whole build-up, you know, and the way the island looked. Now the island is mixed with whatever the fuck this island is, bro. Like, I know a lot of people may be like, damn, you're roasting chapter 5. Yes, I'm roasting chapter 5. Because I don't know what to feel about this chapter. I really have no clue what to feel about this chapter.
Okay? They introduced the worst season in Fortnite history, arguably besides chapter 1, season 10. The cars. We all know it.
The cars are bad.
No hit scan guns.
The cars are bad.
Hashtag ads, right? Marvel seasons and mythicologically, just garbage. Garbage. It's garbage. It's trash. Everything about this chapter, I don't like. And you don't need to watch this video to hear my thoughts on why I don't like this chapter. Just look at anyone clickbaiting anywhere about me complaining. It's god awful. It's god awful, boy. And I'm telling you, we can't get chapter 6 soon enough, and we can't get the OG map coming back, which I believe, unfortunately, is going to be chapter 2. But I think it'll still be fun.
I like the like, unfortunately, it's going to be chapter 2. Bro, look, Ninja's always complaining about stuff, not gonna lie. Like, especially about Kaisenet. Like, I remember this video of him complaining about Kaisenet's his success, you know? Like, bro's always complaining, you know? And even though I'm complaining, you know, you can always make the choice to play another game. Well, I still decide to play this game. So guess what? I don't complain as much. But he keeps complaining. Then go play another game. You know? Like, I know nostalgia, you know, and I like how I keep talking about chapter 2 and how much I miss it. My fucking earbud dropped. And how much I miss it. Let me look for it real quick. Fucking hell. Where you go? Found it. on how much I miss Chapter 2 and such. I know I keep talking about it, but then quit the game, you know? Like, and at the end of the day, Epic is going to decide what's going to happen. They will listen to the committee at some point, but at the end of the day, Epic will decide themselves if they're going to break Chapter 1 or not. Like, we go Reload, which is pretty fucking close to Chapter 1, but not entirely. So, yeah, I'm not complaining, you know? I'm not complaining. But yeah, I'll continue.
Because hopefully they add a little. I mean, honestly, I'll take anything at this point, right? I'll take anything at this point. There's my tier list, my tier list, Fortnite Chapter tier list. And by the way, this is accurate. I know some people are like Chapter 2, C, yes, because it had one of the most boring seasons of all time, which puts it at C. One of the most boring seasons, over 160 days, one update, one new gun, a harpoon. Okay? And that's where it belongs. Yeah, but again, Tribute, like 2 good seasons doesn't make up for 160 days of ass cheeks. Like, I don't think Epic's ever come out and talked about it also. Look at the updates, the bi-weekly updates that they came out with for like the entirety of Chapter 1, right? There was a new chapter, there's a new season every like month or two. There were new guns being added in the middle of those seasons, right? Why was Chapter 2 Season 1 160 days with only a harpoon added and nothing else? Why? I want an answer. You know what I mean? What were they thinking? COVID or not, bro? Put a 5-year-old...
Look. Even though it's just a harpoon, they're also preparing for Chapter 2 Season 2, which became the most loved season in the history of Fortnite. Like, everybody will keep talking, oh my god, Chapter 2 Season 2, Chapter 2 Season 2, Chapter 2 Season 2. It's the best chapter. Midas, Meowscles, TNTina, Sky, you know, Deadpool, Brutus, you know, like, everybody will keep talking about it, how much they miss it. And don't forget Agent Peter, of course. Like, I didn't play it back then, but the way David just keeps talking about it, and all the other people that played back then keep talking about it, it must have been very good. It must have been very good. Like, one of the best Chapter 2 seasons out there. So Chapter 2 was not that bad. You can't tell me that the Travis Scott event was bad, bro. Like, I saw the video of him reacting to it, of being there, and he clearly enjoyed it. But further on, Chapter 2 was not that bad. Like, I get it, the first season being very bad, but it doesn't mean the entire chapter is bad. Because of one thing, the entire thing is bad, it doesn't make sense to me, you know? Like, even with me complaining about Chapter 5. Like, Chapter 5, like I said, I like Season 1, but I don't like the rest, which is different. But both just saying everything is bad, which doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, this was my reaction to it. I'll see what he has to say on this end part.
In one of the freaking development rooms and have him smack his head on the keyboard and add any item that they probably had. I mean, they could have added old guns. They could have added anything.
Alright, well, this is the reaction then.